what's going on, buddy? Sue here, and today I'm bringing you the Water Ally build guide for T16 farming. This build is definitely going to be the fastest T16 key farm build in the game for season 25, and they can farm up to 130 keys per hour if optimized and played correctly. So what you see on the screen here is me blasting these normal rifts. I have terrible gear. I made the character in about 30 minutes and has like 8k main stat. You'll easily be able to make this character on day 1 of the season. So as you can see, we're able to kill everything really easily. We can do these kind of speeds in about 1 to 2 minutes depending on the map. And the scaling is just insane, and you can actually start one-shotting everything. We get a little bit more gear in Paragon. So where does the damage come from? Basically, I'll show on the screen. Now, this is the 6th piece of the inner. Basically, this was reworked recently and now gives a massive damage to your Mystic allies. So the 6th set along with all the items are able to buff the damage of the Mystic allies by an insane amount. And we'll look at the rest of the gear later. Now playstyle wise, this is very easy. You want to hop in, use your cooldown as much as possible, fly around, find the leads, use cycling strike, use your Mystic ally to make them into waves. And it's just about zooming around trying to find as many leads as possible. The only thing you're really concerned about when you're playing this is keeping your in-gem going. You want to kill a pack at least every 10 seconds. I hope you're enjoying this guide. If you are, leave a like. It helps the channel out so much. Now another reason why this build is so strong is also because of the new season 25 theme. So let's have a look at it, shall we? What you see on the screen here is the new weapon soul shard called Dregs of Lies. There are 7 total soul shards, this being one of them. So basically, each time your pet hits an enemy, your damage is increased by 1% for 5 seconds. This stacks up to 100 times, and when you reach 100 stacks, the stacks critically reset to 0. So basically, you can see this fluctuating stack on my bar that keeps going to 100 and back down to 0. This is a major buff for any kind of pet build, and also this, since Mystic allies counts as pet. And also the other line, you deal 25% less damage, but your pet deals 50% increased damage. And since we are relying solely for our damage from our pets, this is really nice. Now you can also have a soul shard in your helmet, and we are using the Sliver of Terror. So your attack speed and critical hit chance are increased by 7% for each skill on cooldown. And as you can see, we're able to proc quite a few skills on cooldowns, so this is a big damage increase. And also the other line, your cooldowns are increased by 25%, but for every skill on cooldown, you take 12.5% reduced damage and you deal 25% increased damage. So this is a massive damage increase for us. Now let's go over the gear and see how everything works. So for the weapon, we are using in-gem, of course. You want to get the secondary to 10 seconds. It is kind of mandatory because otherwise it really won't work that well. Besides that, getting some cooldown reduction and percent damage is also nice. And the same goes for Echoing Fury. We're using Echoing Fury for the secondary. Gives you 25% movement speed and attack speed, so that's really nice for getting around, and attack speed is good for the pets. And of course, also here you want to get some cooldown reduction, some attack speed and percent damage. For the wings, we're using Focus Restraint. Something like this works pretty well, so damage roll and crit. For the gloves, attack speed crit works really nice. You could also get some cooldown reduction, but it's whatever. For the shoulders, you want to get a secondary that's pretty high, so get as close to 50 as possible, and then you want to get some Mystic ally damage and some cooldown reduction. For the helmet, you want to get dexterity, vitality and crit hit chance. On the chest piece, get some main stat and some Mystic ally damage. Now for the build, we are using gold wrap. This basically just makes us invincible once we pick up some gold. Now for the pants, we want to get dexterity, vitality and armor. And the same for the boots, just also add the always. For the amulet, we're using Squirt's amulet. We have a very high uptime of this due to how the build works, so that's really nice in terms of just damage output. For the braces, we're using the Wasician Arm Guard, so again another movement speed increased item. For the gems, we are using Enforcer to increase our pet damage, using Bane the Trap for a massive multiplier. We're also using Boom the Harder for increased gold and also movement speed. For the skills, we're using Rift the 100 Fist with Blazing Fists to gain more attack speed. We're also using Cycling Strike and Implosion just to get everything around us in and then one-shot them with the Mystic allies. And of course, our main damage is the Mystic ally with Water ally. This is by far the best rune for any kind of speed setup. Now we're also using Epiphany Insight. You could also very easily swap this to Desert Route if you're having toughness issues. We're also using Dashing Strike with Quicksilver just to get around the map. Use this to fly around and find elite packs. We're also using Mantra of Conviction for the passive, which gains us 30% more movement speed. Now for the passives. We're using Near Death Experience, so just a G death proc. We're using Seize the Initiative for increased 30% attack speed. We're using Beacon of Yida for another 20% reduced cooldown reduction. And we're using Relentless Assault, which gives us 20% more damage to enemies that are blind, frozen or stunned. Since our water ally freezes them, this procs it all the time. For the cube, we're using Messenger's Weaver, so reduce the remaining cooldown of running skills by 1 second when you slay an enemy. And since we're killing things all the time with this just allows us to keep spamming our abilities. For the armor slot, we're using the Crudest Boot, so 20% more increased damage to our Mystic allies, and they're able to be in their active form longer, i.e. being the waves, which is when they have most of their damage. And for Jewelry slot, we're using Ring of Royal Grandeur. This allows us to equip our gold wrap, and this is really nice for damage mitigation. Now for the follower, make sure you have 2-piece canes equipped to gain the additional chance to get greater keys. And also the 2-piece of sage for double amount of death breath. And if you equip your follower with a wing for the gunner, they can also have both of these equipped at the same time. Besides that, get a flavor of time for more pylon effect, and also get nemesis braces. And an Oculus ring with a high secondary, as close to 85 as possible, doesn't hurt either. I have tons of videos coming out here for season 25, so stick around for that. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, folks.